welcome to episode 41 of Drew's Baseball Crew on this Saturday morning. Happy Saturday, everybody. Here, myself, Drew Skyberg, bringing you your winning lineup on Fantasia Sports as always. Look, it's Labor Day weekend, and it's going to be a great weekend, right, to enjoy time with family and also to build your DFS lineup here on the Saturday. A lot of games, a good slate today. You know, Rockies are in Colorado. That's always fun. Point Brewery, the perfect Labor Day root beer. It's some great stuff. I'm going to a lot of brewery games coming up as I did move in to my last year here at UW Milwaukee. And guess what? Point Brewery's got my back for brewer games and such. I'm gonna be enjoying it here this week for some of the brewer games going on. As they're home still tomorrow, but might be going there. But next week, I'm going to be following them. I'm going to be in New York on the Sunday game. I'm going to go to Yankee Stadium, see it for the first time. I'm really excited. And then on Monday, that Monday, I'm following them back home, going to the game that night. So it's going to be some cool stuff. But let's get into it. We have to get the baseball mind moving. And how we do that, right? You all know the Immaculate Grid just does such a great job. So let's pull it up here. It seems like there's a theme on Saturdays as I'm just looking at it now. They like to throw those stats in there. But good news is we have the Colorado Rockies and New York Yankees. I know a guy who played for them, DJ LeMahieu. Crazy he's been in the league since 2011, though. I didn't have any crazy polls to use. Honestly, I wasn't sure. All right, we need a Yankee MVP, but we don't want to take away from these other ones. So just a Yankee who won a MVP. Like I want to just say A-Rod because it just feels like it makes the most sense. But let's do it. Let's do it. Because the idea here is I can use Judge at the 40-plus home runs. Yeah, you see how I'm doing this? But like the Yankees are done. We need a Rocky Silver Slugger. Carlos Gonzalez had to have won a Silver Slugger. I'm thinking 2011 he did, or 2012 he did, but it's crazy how good Cargo was. Tulowitzki batted a season over. Crazy how good he was too. Just like he's such a what if with injuries and such. Just crazy. Okay, Rockies, Yankees are done already. Good work. Good work, team. Next here, let's do Silver Slugger, 40-plus home runs. Okay, let's go to the 90s. Let's get our 90s minded. I always go with like Rafael Primero or Juan Gonzalez. I don't know which one batted for average, though. Because I know those guys did that. I can just say Bonds, actually. Bonds for this. That's a harder feat to do, I feel. Like batting 340. Okay, this one I can just say, I'll say Rafael Palmeiro. Palmeiro, yeah. 0.5%. Good work. MVP Silver Slugger. Okay, let's think of an MVP. Ryan Braun. He won a Silver Slugger. That works. Okay. MVP, who batted 300 plus, had a 300 plus average for the season. Last one. No way I messed this up. Mike Trout did it. I'm just like, how can I keep this simple? He batted 300 for a season. Woohoo! Good work. 9 out of 9. That's a great way to kick off our Saturday. Now, let's build our lineup. It's time. Thank you, Immaculate Grid. That was some good stuff. They're linked down below. All right. You all know the drill. Let's start. Let's look at like the matchups first. Let's look at the over-unders. Let's look at what Vegas is thinking here about Saturday. How should we approach Saturday? And look, we should approach it with some runs being scored. Cincinnati is at Great American Ballpark, their home stadium. Over-under there against the Cubs, 9.5 already. Yikes, that's going to be something to monitor. Boston, Kansas City, 10. 10 runs is that over-under. We have 9 in Houston with the Yankees. An over-under of 9 with the Phillies and Brewers, mainly because Colin Ray is pitching. Nothing against Colin Ray. That's just how it is. Minnesota, Texas, over-under at 9. Pittsburgh, St. Louis, 9.5. So as you see, like we're looking at like 8 runs as a pretty standard over-under. but we're up in it right now to 9. So that tells us exactly what kind of output Vegas is expecting today. Colorado, try 11.5 runs. Is that over under? So, and then to LA tonight to round it out. Over unders at 10. So my point is, there are going to be I believe, a plethora of games that are going to feature a lot of fantasy points scored. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take advantage of the top matchups, right? And one way we're going to do that is we're going to look at historic data. We're going to look at how specific hitters have performed against specific pitchers for their history. We'll use that to help base our, what we're going to do today, how we're going to attack. Also, Dallas Keuchel starting against Texas, so you're going to probably see a lot of Texas tonight in your slate. But there are some good numbers to back behind it. We'll also then go to Ballpark Pal. They're also linked down below. They do a great job then on using pitcher and hitter tendencies to match up to show who is the best matchup today and whatnot. And that's going to be really powerful here to use. So going through the hitters, we have some surprisingly Milwaukee Brewers on here, but we got to go first. We'll start with Robbie Grossman against Dallas Keuchel, 8 for 20. 2 walks to 2 strikeouts, OPS just over 1,000. So a good start there looking at Grossman. Jose Abreu, who should be back against Luis Severino, who's changing up his pitch mix and such. So that's going to be interesting at start today. 7 for 18 for his career off of Luis Severino. Hopefully Abreu gets back to his White Sox form, but could be a good matchup here to start. Okay, here are the Brewers. Brian Anderson. Yeah, out of all hitters, Brian Anderson. 11 for 32 against Aaron Nola. That's a 344 clip. Pretty empty, though. 10 singles only. So I'm not going to suggest him today. He's been struggling as of late. Aaron Nola has been dominant in terms of strikeouts and whatnot. Yelich could be an option, though. His average is over 300. He has a home run off of Nola for his career. OPS over 800. You might not be getting good value there, but if you want a piece of that Brewers lineup, I don't know if you necessarily do today, but he has some good extra base hit numbers against Nola for his career. Here's an option. Mitch Garver. He's been phenomenal. 7 for 19 off of Dallas Keuchel. 1 walk to 2 strikeouts. He's a good option today. I do like Garver. If you can get him at catcher, that is a win in my book. Next up, we have Lourdes Gurriel against Kyle Bradish. 5 for 9 for his career off of Bradish. I like that option. Luis Arraez against Trevor Williams. 5 for 13 with a homer for his career. Next up, those are the main matchups, like the top ones. We do have some not so great numbers. We have like William Contreras. He's only 4 for 18 off of Aaron Nola for his career. And then we have Jordan Montgomery, who against Correa, 4 for 12. Not necessarily considering that one. It's with a homer, though. So we like to see that. Also, Corey Seager off Dallas Keuchel, 3 for 8. With how Seager's been hitting this year, that could be a solid matchup. Mark Canha is 3 for 8 with a homer off of Aaron Nola for his career. Potentially a solid matchup, but I don't think we're taking it today. I think there's other games, right? We want to even go to Colorado, where Charlie Blackmon in Coors Field has been phenomenal, and Yusei Kikuchi is going to be facing him. He's only 2 for 3 for his career off of him, but even though it's lefty on lefty, if you want a piece of the lineup, could be a good value. Elias Diaz off of Yusei Kikuchi, 2 for 4, 2 doubles. I also like Diaz today as a potential catching option. But those are the main ones based on historical data. So in summary, again, Mitch Garver, good matchup today. Yelich is okay. Robbie Grossman is a good matchup. Abreu, we like it. Lourdes Gurriel, we love it. Luis Arraez. So we overall have a decent amount of output. That should be good. Didn't even mention Shohei Ohtani. I should have. He's got a great matchup too. 4 for 8 with a homer for his career off of Paul Blackburn. If he's in the lineup today, we definitely want Shohei Ohtani. So if you want to pay up, he could be a guy worth paying up for today. So let's go over. Actually, I think, we'll go over the hitters. We'll talk about matchups too, top matchups using Ballpark Pal, using that historic data, or just to look at pitcher tendencies and hitter tendencies, and let's see how we're going to be doing it. You bet Colorado. There's a lot on here, just with the nature of right. The game is in Coors Field. That's going to impact how we look at this. And Toronto loads up on righties when they face lefties. They're facing a lefty, tie block. So it's going to be interesting. And yeah, let's just say the model likes a lot of them today, but I can tell you personally, my favorites. Look, Davis Schneider, I don't know if it's sustainable. I don't think it's sustainable, but he's been good against lefties. The model really likes him today, a plus 63% change in runs created. So we're looking at big potential fantasy output today. And the model really likes him to get an extra base hit. His probability is up plus 70% change with the probability. So that's pretty insane. We're going to want Davis Schneider today. Definitely going to have him in my lineup. Then next up also, Whit Merrifield has been solid as of late. They like him to get an extra base hit. Also plus 48% change there. And keep in mind on my thing I'll be posting at Your Sports Crew, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Fantasia changed their lines. It's the over-unders now for their lineups. So just keep in mind, like fantasy point-wise, like I'm taking the guys who I'm taking the overs with, because like if they get over 1.5 bases, like I'm projecting them to go above their projected fantasy points. So if that makes sense, it's just a different way of looking at it. Those are still guys who I'm taking in my lineup, just in a different kind of way. I'm taking them above their projection even too. So just want to throw that out there. I can also post like a salary lineup and just let me know what you would prefer. But just highlighting how I've been doing it the last couple weeks. Alejandro Kirk, though, is a good option. Also, they like his change to get an extra base hit. He's a high floor play for points. He honestly is. So would consider Kirk today. They're in my lineup. So we do have that early game. Like when I say early, it's 3:05, so not that early. But Jazz Chisholm against Trevor Williams is a matchup the model likes, and I personally do as well. Plus 44% runs change. So could be a good one to throw in there. A guy I haven't even mentioned with the Texas Rangers. Yeah, I mentioned like their whole lineup, but JP Martinez, who's going to be in the bottom of that order. He's a lefty. It's going to be lefty on lefty, him versus Keuchel, but the model likes how he handles pitchers with similar mixes like Dallas Keuchel, plus 67% runs change, but it's mainly about singles and walks. Nothing with extra base hits and powers, so probably not something on a fantasy side we're going to be looking at, but just want to throw that out there. The model does like him. Willie Abreu against Alec Marsh. So Willie Abreu with the Boston Red Sox, who they called up recently, plus 34% runs change. Not much with the home runs, though, or extra base hits. So his is more driven by the probability to walk and stuff, which, although helpful, but not really for fantasy purposes. Some others, Jorge Soler against Trevor Williams, a matchup the model likes. Luis Urias against Alec Marsh. Alex Verdugo against the Marsh. You see there's some themes here. Brendan Rodgers against Yusei Kikuchi. There's a Colorado Rocky to take in your lineup, who the model likes. Christopher Morel against Andrew Abbott. That's a good one to point out. Morel with the Cubs. Really good matchup there for the Cubs today, with Abbott not doing as well as of late. And Parker Meadows of the Detroit Tigers against Mike Clevinger. Potential good matchup. So we're going to monitor that. Clevinger's first start now with his new team. And overall, those are the main ones I'm looking at here for my lineup. I do want to highlight one more: Max Muncy against Bryce Elder. It's one the model does like as well. So let me in summary kind of talk about how I'm approaching today. First, let me go to pitchers, and then I'll go through that. So, and on the starting pitcher report here, I'm playing a lot of matchups today. So it's tough. There's going to be a lot of runs probably scored today, right? I read the numbers already. It's going to be crazy. Top one for me, I think you got to pay up today. Luis Castillo against the Mets. the Mets offense is not the same, right, as it was at the start of the year. You're going to, I recommend, I think that's going to be the way to go. I think there's going to be a lot of variance on the bottom today. You know how I usually like to play it cute and get like a streamer in there, but I can't do it today. Luis Castillo is going to be my guy, number one. Griffin Canning, he's not really a streamer. He's going to be against Oakland. He had a good start, 9 strikeouts in his last start. Those are what I'm doing, 1-2 pair. I'm fine with Aaron Nola against the Brewers. I think he's going to do well today. I think he gives you the quality start potential, I think, that not every pitcher on this list gives you. So Nola would be a safe bet for me as well. Blake Snell, finally, against the Giants. So those are the 4 I'm looking at. I don't think I'd go. I don't know the lowest I'd go. Maybe Jordan Montgomery against the Twins. And then maybe Hunter Brown against the Yankees. Both those are maybes. But the other 4 are my safest, I feel. So that's how I'm approaching pitching today. Let's go through now. Let me summarize how we're going to win today. So we're going to go to the Colorado game, and definitely I want to get some players in my lineup there. I want to get potentially Alejandro Kirk, Whit Merrifield, Davis Schneider, get 3 on that side, and then I want to go Brendan Rodgers for sure with the Rockies, and then probably that's it. I might take Charlie Blackmon too, penny price. So I want to get like 4 or 5 people from that game alone. I'm looking at then Lourdes Gurriel from Arizona. I like that matchup today for him. I like Max Muncy against Bryce Elder. I'll handpick that one. And then in the Rangers game, I'll go Robbie Grossman. I'll take him. And then my other ones was I was looking at Boston, right? I'd be fine with Casas if you need a first baseman. I would go there. But otherwise, if you need to get guys some good value, I mentioned Parker Meadows was one I'd be looking at. I still think in the Cubs-Reds game, I'd be looking there at Christopher Morel. Penny if he's playing today. But I'd be looking at him in the lineup. Javier Assad has pitched well for the Cubs. I'm not too sure if I want to take anyone from that game, which could be a mistake, but just not. I don't know. I don't see a lot of upside there. I mentioned Ohtani. If you can get Ohtani today, I think you might as well go ahead and do it. Forget some of the other guys I mentioned. Pay up and get Ohtani. I like that matchup. Jazz Chisholm, if he's in your slate, I do like that matchup, and I would try to take advantage of that one. Otherwise, those are going to be the ones I'm taking today. Look, Kyle Harrison in the thumbnail again of this video. I didn't mention him for my pitchers, but if you're starting 2, I should have added this part. If you're starting 2 today, I wouldn't mind taking Kyle Harrison today. I'm just a little concerned too with again the amount of variance I believe is going to be in the bottom here today. Kyle Harrison pitched phenomenal last outing. Could be a guy to add in there. Again, I like him more as a second pitcher, not your first pitcher. So just wanted to add that in here before we wrap up. And yeah, for the Braves today, even against MSG, and I'm not sure. Like for me, it was a maybe to Eddie Rosario and Michael Harris, but I don't know about taking any of those top guys. I just feel like with Colorado, you might be getting some better value other places. So want to add that in there. We should be good on weather today. No issues there. But lastly, I want to wish you all best of luck here today on this slate. How about we win DFS today? And I'll be back here tomorrow night for an episode of Drew Sports Crew previewing Packers, all that good stuff, talking through that. And thank you all for listening here at Drew Sports Crew, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok for my lineups and all things MLB rankings, Wisconsin sports stuff, all that good stuff at Drew Sports Crew. That's going to wrap it up here for myself, Drew Skyberg, here on this Saturday morning. Thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Drew Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.